have here. I do love when a delectable morsel like yourself strolls into my lair just as I'm beginning to feel famished. Oh, I see. So you're here to kill me. Let me guess. The insignia on the armor, the weapon clearly anointed with holy water. A recruit from the Hunters Guild. How cute. They truly put their minuscule brains to work and decided sending a woman was the best way to dispose of me. Laughable, really, as if I discriminate. And it's hard to be frightened of a cute little kitten unsheathing its claws for the first time. Although I suppose I should give you credit for tracking me down. I didn't make myself easy to find. Beauty, bravery, and brains? That really turns me on. I'd love to whet my appetite on you. Spoil sport. I take it your little demon hunting guild hasn't approved of my latest leisurely pursuits. Oh, don't look so gutted. It's not as if I were drowning puppies. I was only killing men. No great loss, really. You want to know why I've been going on a murdering spree? Do I have to have a reason? Can't I simply just want to kill humans for the fun of it? I'm a demon, after all. As your kind love to point out, I'm sin itself. No moral compass to speak of. You know your material. Yes, it's true that succubi don't typically kill our victims outright. Not in the usual sense. We like to feed off of their pleasure for extended periods of time, until they're drained dry. Alive, but comatose. Oops. We all have our hobbies. Oh, come now, do you really want to hear me justify myself? I'm not in the habit of doing such a thing. And instead of talking, I could be using my mouth for so many more fun activities instead. Brandishing your weapon at me with renewed fervor, or because I made a suggestive comment and took a few steps closer to you? You're such a fierce little kitten, aren't you? Did I strike a nerve? You may be talented, more so than your guild gives you credit for, but you won't kill me. You can't. Not when, apart from the horns and tail, my naked body is more human than you expected. Not when I'm the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Your surprise is delicious, kitten. Yes, I can hear that desire in your head. Really, it's as if you've been screaming your lust at me non-stop. Even if I could tune it out, it's hard to miss the dilated pupils, the darting gaze, the flushed cheeks. It's adorable, really, how much self-control you've been exerting. You haven't been able to stop yourself from wanting me since you laid eyes on me. Don't beat yourself up, kitten. It's a natural reaction. You can't help it any more than I can help being so fucking hot. Don't understand. What's not to understand? I'm quite literally fluent in your language. You've trained long and hard to resist the various allures and temptations of demons, Oh, hells, I suppose I'll take pity on you and give you the rundown. You're lucky you're cute. As endearing as your resistance attempts are, they won't work with me for two very simple reasons. To begin with, I'm not just any common succubus. My father, you see, is the ruler of hell. Don't look so shocked. You think he'd exist for centuries and not get busy? I am but one of many of his children. My siblings and I are a bit more elite than the bottom-of-the-barrel demons your guild typically comes into contact with. After all, we don't often make our way onto the mortal plane unless we have good reason to. So any methods of resistance you attempt to implement are ultimately ineffective. I hate to say it, but you simply are out of your league. To top it off, I'm not even exerting any of my influence over you. I could if I really wanted to, but there's no need. As you should know, my natural demonic charms enhance pre-existing attraction. I'm not making you experience anything you didn't already feel naturally. It's just a little harder to ignore with me thanks to my higher ranking. Perhaps now you'll show a little more respect, You know, the other mortals I've encountered got on their knees and begged for me to spare their miserable lives once it became clear who I am. I don't suppose you're thinking of doing the same. I'm getting all hot and bothered just thinking about you submitting to me. You're sure you don't want to be a good girl and let me just have my way with you? I'm positively starving. You're still stuck on why I killed those men. On why I'm here in the first place if I don't normally pop up for a visit. Ah, hells, but you're stubborn. Any other mortal would have given in to me by now and forgotten about this silly interrogation. You're really very interesting, kitten. That's not entirely a compliment. Fine, it's not like it's a secret. If you must know, I'm searching the realm for a consort. His Most Villainous has an antiquated requirement that any of his children who wish to be considered next in line for the throne must first obtain a mortal consort. Oh, your little guild doesn't know about this. Oh, color me surprised. I genuinely don't care what you do with this information, so I'll elaborate. It's not a consort in the same sense as what your people see a consort as. We don't view it as necessarily a romantic or sexual partnership, rather one of mutually beneficial business, sealed with a contract. Darling Daddy says it's important to have powerful consorts as our eyes and ears, to be aware of mortal affairs so we can stir the pot in our favor if needed. I don't particularly want or need a consort. However, Father will not rule hell forever, and once he abdicates the throne, I fully intend to be next in line. There's no better contender. I am beautiful, clever, and always correct. I was born to be a ruler, I'm very convinced. Now it's just a matter of getting Father to agree. Succubi are not typically taken seriously when it comes to these types of matters. I suppose in that we are alike, aren't we? Anyhow, as far as the killings go, you can't blame me, really. If I'm going to have a consort, then I reserve my Satan-given right to be picky with whom I choose. So many options. A distinct lack of women, I notice, though. Perhaps I intimidate them. Or perhaps they're just smarter than men, and can we really be shocked about that? So many pretty men vying for my attention in every castle, town, and village I entered, all more than willing to enter a contract if it meant bedding me. But their inner desires were all so repulsive. A waste of time, every single one of them. I quite think I did your world a favor by cutting their lives short. You mortals are all such hypocrites. You brandish your heaven-blessed weaponry at us and cry for our heads. Yet at the same time you allow the most vile human beings to remain a part of your ridiculous, backwards little society. I have peered into the black hearts of men who dream of perversions that would give you night terrors. Men who have gotten away with horrors in the name of their desires. And what do your people do? Nothing. No, you go after the horned beast and turn a blind eye to the creatures at your own door. Of course, I admit, I'm a demon, therefore I am not good. Far from it. I am wicked and proud of it. But humans, as a whole, humans are sick, contemptible little worms. They dream up things much worse than anything one of my kind could ever come up with, all on their lonesome, and often they cross a line most foul and monstrous. Make no mistake, we may influence the course of history towards chaos and ruin, but your choices are yours alone. As a daughter of hell, it is well within my rights to act as judge and executioner upon anyone whom I deem deserving of an extended stay in my father's kingdom. Trust me when I say that the punishments in hell for humans such as these are quite severe. Of course, mull over it all for a bit. I don't really care if I've subverted all your expectations. Think what you will of me and my kind. But do consider while you're thinking that I've talked quite a lot, and talking makes me thirsty. Actually, I may yet have reason to speak further. Look here, kitten, what if I made you an offer that you simply mustn't refuse? Be my consort. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. You are honourable, true, but I can tell you are also just a little bit wicked. And that makes all the difference, don't you know? At least listen to my proposal. I can see what you most crave. I am a demon of desire. That extends to all forms of desire, not just carnal. And your desires in particular are so hard to miss. You yearn for the recognition you deserve among your hunted peers, the opportunity to show them what you're capable of. A desire that has yet to be granted, as you have had the great misfortune to be born a woman in a world that views women as inferior. Don't you find it utterly unfair? Doesn't it just make you sick, the way they look down on you? Never giving you serious bounties, mocking you openly, viewing you as nothing more than an amusing little girl playing at a man's work. Tempting you, perhaps, but am I wrong? It's not like I'm telling you anything you haven't already told yourself. Even if you were to kill me right here and now, what would it change? They would say it was luck. You know it's true. Your father was a hero of the kingdom, and he taught you everything you know. You and I both know you could run circles round every single one of those smug guild members. You should not have to take their scorn. There are many common demons that my father has issued bounties on for a variety of reasons. Getting a little too overzealous with possessing mortals, defying hell's decrees, going rogue and declaring mutiny against my father, etc., etc. The point is, he wants them dead. Coincidentally enough, your entire job is to kill demons. Here is my offer. I give you information on the demons who have been sentenced to death by Hell himself. You take this information and use it to enact your justice. Normally I wouldn't be bothered, but you can even ask for my assistance if you like. The more demons you kill, the more your little guild will have no choice but to treat you with respect, and you will rise in the ranks. They won't even suspect these particular demons were wanted for death anyway. As for me, dear old Dad will be absolutely tickled by the irony of my consort being a hunter. He will no doubt favor me for being so absurdly clever and for disposing of his enemies in one fell swoop. It's brilliant. Full transparency, your soul would not see heaven if you were to accept, sorry to break it to you, but who wants to go there anyway? So stuffy and boring. All they do is sing hymns. Ugh. We would have so much fun together, you and I. As my consort, you would want for absolutely nothing. And while I did say being a consort does not necessarily entail sex, I know you've already imagined me on top of you, my tongue and fingers inside you, while you reach the height of pleasure over and over again. You've got the most enticing little kinks knocking around in that pretty head of yours. As my consort, you will also be impervious to being drained, so I will have a steady source of pleasure to quench my thirst with minimal risk. And I'm quite serious when I say that I will ensure you are consistently and thoroughly sated. So, what say you? Speak. Good girl. I knew you would see reason. Well, I don't see why we should prolong the inevitable. Time to make a binding contract then, kitten. I think you'll find it a most pleasurable experience that will satisfy your curiosity once and for all.